Today we're celebrating the holiday by giving you guys our 12 tips of Christmas, plus, as a little side note, it's somebody's birthday. I'm not gonna say whose, but it might be ours. Yeah. What's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pimping Pixels, the only design show that will give you the tips, tricks, and techniques that you need to become a pro. Now today is a very special day for us because 1 year ago, we brought you guys the very first episode of Pimping Pixels. And ever since then, we've been pushing ourselves to make the best show possible, and this episode is no exception. Today, we're going to be creating a poster, and as we do that, we're going to come up with 12 amazing tips that you guys will be using on just about every project that you work on after you watch this episode. Some of these tips you'll use more than others, but let's just dive in anyway. Tip number 1. If you're strapped for time, one of the best things that you could do is to simply just buy assets. There are tons of really good stock photo sites where you could buy truly awesome designs that you could use as a background. Now, two of my favorite stock photo sites are bigstockphoto.com and photodune.net, and you could find links inside of the description below. Tip number 2. Once you place an image into your project, you should immediately turn it into a smart object if it isn't already. You can do this easily by right-clicking on the layer name and then choosing Convert to Smart Object. You'll then see this little icon on your layer letting you know that it is now a smart object. And what makes this object so smart, you ask? Well, if you take a normal image and scale it down, Photoshop will render those new pixels at the smaller size. So if you try to make that image bigger, it'll get all pixelated. However, if you converted it into a smart object first, then Photoshop will save all that original pixel data and you can resize it as much as you want and it won't get distorted. Just as long as you don't stretch it bigger than its original size, because trying to make the image bigger will always cause some issues. Tip number 3. When your Move tool isn't selected and you're feeling too lazy to drag your mouse over to the toolbar and select it, you can easily just press the letter V on your keyboard and that will switch your current tool into the Move tool. Now, I'm not sure why they chose V for this shortcut. Maybe it's because it's for the Move tool. Who knows? Tip number 4. One of my favorite poster designs are those ones where you have like your main subject in the front and then like a giant faded version of them in the background. It's a stunning design and it's also stupid easy to do. First thing we need to do is to duplicate our model layer. Easy way to do that is to press Command on Mac, Control on Windows, and the letter J on your keyboard, and then you'll have a copy of your selected layer. Tip number 5. Let's scale up our model layer. A quick way to scale your layers is to press Command on Mac, Control on Windows, and the letter T. This will activate Free Transform and you can simply just pull on the handles to scale your image. Tip number 6. If you hold down Shift while you're dragging on one of these transform handles, you'll constrain its proportions. This way you don't stretch out your image in weird and unwanted ways. Tip number 7. Now let's make the background image of our model black and white. A really easy way to do this is to add a black and white adjustment layer. And you can achieve this effect by clicking on the adjustment layer icon at the bottom of your layers panel and then simply select black and white. Tip number 8. Now our adjustment layer is making everything below it black and white and not just our model layer. Not what we want. So how do we make this adjustment affect only our model layer? Well, make sure that your adjustment layer is directly above the layer you want it to affect. Then double-click the adjustment layer's thumbnail icon. This will pull up the properties panel for that layer if it's not up already. At the bottom of this panel, you'll see a little icon that will clip it to the layer below. Click that button and you will now see that it's only affecting our model layer and not the layers below that. Tip number 9. Let's blend our model layer into the background by lowering its opacity. You can go to your layers panel and lower the opacity by dragging the opacity slider. Or even easier than that, you can just use your numpad. Pressing 9 on your numpad will drop the opacity down to 90%. Likewise, pressing 8 equals 80%, 7 equals 70%, and so on and so on. If you need to bring your opacity back up to 100%, you can simply just press 0. If you need a more precise value like 56%, just press 5 then 6 really quick. And if you want to bring it down to 0%, you want to hide it entirely, all you have to do is press 0 twice. Tip number 10. Now let's add some quick text into our design. You can access your type tool by simply pressing the letter T on your keyboard. Then just click anywhere you want to add your text and type away. Tip number 11. Now this tip is one of my personal favorites because sometimes when you add a drop shadow, it doesn't make your text stand out enough since the shadow is off to one side and it doesn't surround your entire text. So instead of adding a drop shadow, let's add an outer glow. However, instead of making the text bright, we could give it a darker look by flipping this effect on its head. We're going to start off by changing the blend mode from screen to multiply. Then just change the light color to black and play with your spread, size, and opacity sliders to get this effect looking just right. Tip number 12. Now that we have our design all finished, you're really going to want to show this off to all of your friends. So you can show and hide all of your open panels simply by pressing the Tab key. This will let you focus just on your image without the clutter of all your panels. So now your image looks pretty good with all the panels gone, but your menu bar is still in the way. Just press F on your keyboard a couple of times and this will cycle you through the different view modes, and eventually you'll get to see your image on just a black background. So those were our 12 tips for Christmas, and I hope you guys enjoyed them as much as we did. And if you have any tips of your own that you would like to share, you could easily do so in the comments below. But this will bring a wrap to today's episode, as well as mark the end of Season 2 of Pimping Pixels. This just means that we're going to take a short break in order to get the next batch of episodes together for you guys. And our next season will also be running on a set schedule. So no more having to wait blindly for your next dose of design awesomeness. Season 3 will be airing episodes every other week. We're just not entirely sure what day of the week that's going to be yet, so we'll leave that up to you.
The people.
Simply let us know in the comments below what day of the week you would like to start seeing Pimping Pixels air, and we'll make it happen for you guys. Also make sure to hit that like button and share this video with all of your friends. Because remember, the first rule of Pimping Pixels is that you really must tell as many people as possible about it. It's a rather fun show, and the more people you tell, the better! So we wish you all a wonderful holiday and a very happy new year. Now start using these amazing tips on all of your projects, and for the last time in 2012, keep on pimping them pixels. Today we're celebrating the holiday. What am I doing with my hands? I don't know. What am I doing? What do I do with my hands? Today we're celebrating the holiday by giving you 12 tips of Christmas, plus as a little side note, it's also our birthday. Plus, as a little side note, it's somebody's birthday. Why do I keep saying it like that? I don't want to say it like that. That's how it comes out. Plus, as a little side note, it's our birthday. What? Yeah, birthday. Holla. I shouldn't say any of these things, ever. One of them have to be good.